This is serious trouble. Imagine slapping the wife of your supposed boyfriend who bought the car that was bashed.
I see you, my heart beats, a lady of all men's dreams.
Maya was driving home in her shiny red car on a sunny afternoon. She was humming along with the radio and thinking about her boyfriend Daniel. Suddenly, another car bumped into the back of Maya's car at the red traffic light. Maya's heart jumped in shock. She quickly packed and got out to see what happened. A woman stepped out of the other car. She looked upset but oddly calm at the same time. Maya was very angry because her car, which she loved so much, now had a big dent on the back. "What were you doing? You hit my car!" Maya shouted at the woman. Her hands were shaking with anger and fear. The other driver, a woman with tired eyes, opened her mouth as if to speak, but no words came out at first. She took a few steps forward. Maya was so mad that before she even thought about it, she raised her hand, then slapped her. She slapped the woman right across the face. It was a loud, sharp sound in the air. The woman held her cheek and looked at Maya with surprise and pain in her eyes. Maya had never hit anyone like that before. She was breathing fast. For a moment, she felt a little bad seeing the hurt in the woman's face, but her anger was still very hot. "You scratched my new car," Maya yelled. "Do you know how much this car means to me?" The woman slowly lowered her hands from her red cheek. Instead of yelling back, she said softly, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause harm." She looked like she might cry, but she took a deep breath. Then she said, "Maya, I needed to talk to you." Maya was surprised. How did this stranger know her name? Maya narrowed her eyes. She had never seen this woman before. "How do you know my name?" she asked, her voice still very angry, but now also curious. The woman stood up straighter. There was sadness and determination on her face, because she said in a trembling voice, "I'm Christine. I'm Daniel's wife." For a second, Maya felt like the world stopped. It was as if everything around her went silent except for the echo of those words. Daniel's wife? Maya's mouth fell open. She felt dizzy and confused. Daniel's wife? But Daniel was her boyfriend. He never said anything about being married. Maya's mind filled with questions all at once. She stared at the woman, Christine, not able to speak. This was a shocking moment for Maya. She had no idea that Daniel, the man she loved, had a wife. Sometimes we discover a secret that changes everything in just one moment. Maya didn't know it yet, but Christine had a long, painful story that led up to this dramatic accident. To understand why Christine was here, we need to learn about her past. Christine was Daniel's wife, and she had a story full of hope and hurt. A few years ago, Christine fell in love with Daniel when they were both young and dreaming of a happy life. Daniel was funny and charming. He made Christine laugh, and he promised her a bright future together. Christine believed in him with all her heart. They got married, and Christine felt like the luckiest woman in the world on their wedding day. At the beginning of their marriage, everything seemed good, but soon, Christine noticed that Daniel was not very careful with money. He liked to buy expensive things that they didn't really need. Christine had a good job and saved her money, but Daniel would spend his money very fast. Sometimes, he even borrowed money from Christine, promising to pay it back. Christine loved Daniel so much, so she forgave him each time he spent too much. She thought that if she helped him and supported him, he would learn to be more responsible. Christine worked hard at her job. She even gave up some of her own dreams to make Daniel happy. For example, she had a dream to start her own small bakery, but she used the money she saved for the bakery to pay off a big credit card bill that Daniel had. Daniel had spent a lot of money buying fancy gadgets, and going to big dinners with friends. Christine hoped it was just a phase and that Daniel would change. But Daniel did not really change. One day, after paying off that huge bill, Christine sat down with Daniel at the kitchen table. She showed him their budget and said kindly, "We have to be more careful with money, Daniel. We need to save for our future. Can you try not to buy things we don't need?" Daniel sighed and held her hand. "You're right, baby. I'm sorry," he said. "I will do better, I promise." Christine felt happy hearing that and believed him. Daniel even cooked dinner for her the next night to show he was thankful and that he would try. However, a few weeks later, Christine noticed more expensive purchases on their account. It seemed Daniel couldn't resist buying new gadgets or going out to fancy restaurants with friends. He had broken his promises so soon. Christine was very disappointed, but she still loved him and hoped maybe those were just little slip-up. Christine's love for Daniel was very strong, and she believed in him. She thought that if she was kind and patient, Daniel would do the right thing. Sometimes, when we love someone, we ignore their bad habits, hoping they will improve. But it's important to say the truth. Christine was going to learn that the hard way. Months went by, and Daniel's bad habits continued. Christine found receipts for things she never saw at home. Once, she found a receipt for a very expensive necklace, but Christine never received such a gift. When she asked Daniel about it, he laughed nervously and said, "Oh, that was a gift from my cousin." Christine felt uneasy because she didn't remember him mentioning a cousin's needing gifts. As time passed, Christine grew more worried. Daniel was often late coming home. He sometimes went out at night and didn't tell Christine where he was going. When she asked, he would say, "Just out with a friend, nothing to worry about." But he wouldn't give details. Christine started to feel lonely and nervous. She missed the days when Daniel was only with her and they had fun together, just the two of them. One night, Christine made Daniel's favorite dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, hoping they could have a nice evening together. Daniel came home very late that night. The food was very cold. Christine waited at the table, trying not to cry. When Daniel finally came in, he looked surprised to see the dinner. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had to work late." Christine looked at him closely. There was a lipstick stain on the collar of his shirt. It was a color that Christine never wore. Christine's heart sank. She didn't say anything about the lipstick then. She simply said, "It's okay, I understand," and cleared the dishes. But inside, she felt like she had swallowed a stone. Was Daniel seeing someone else? Christine did not want to believe it. She remembered how he promised to love her forever. She decided to watch more carefully. Over the next few weeks, Christine noticed more strange things. Daniel was often smiling at his phone, texting someone secretly. If Christine came into the room, he would quickly hide his phone. Sometimes, he would go to the other room to take phone calls, speaking in low voices. Christine's stomach felt tight with worry. She tried to talk to him. "Daniel, I feel like we are not spending time together like we used to. Is everything okay?" Daniel just patted her head and said, "Everything is fine, Chrissy. Don't worry." But Christine was not convinced. One Saturday afternoon, Christine decided to follow Daniel quietly. Daniel told her he was going to the gym, but he drove off in a different direction. Christine took a taxi and followed his car from far behind, so he wouldn't see her. Her heart was pounding. She felt guilty for following him, but she needed to know the truth. Daniel parked near a fancy cafe in the city. Christine watched from a distance as a young woman with a bright smile walked up to Daniel and hugged him. Christine's eyes filled with tears as she recognized the woman's face from a photo she had seen on Daniel's phone once. That woman was Maya. Christine's hands trembled as she saw Daniel and Maya go into the cafe together, looking happy like a couple. Christine felt as if her heart was breaking into pieces. She wanted to run over and shout at them, but she was frozen in a place. She could not believe that Daniel, her husband, was having a secret relationship with another woman. Christine sat in the taxi and cried quietly as she told the driver to take her home. On the way, she remembered every warning sign she had ignored. Now, it all made sense. When Daniel came home that night, Christine was sitting on the couch, her eyes red from crying. Daniel looked worried when he saw her. "Are you okay?" he asked. Christine looked at him and asked softly, "Daniel, are you seeing someone else?" Her voice shook. She wanted him to tell her the truth, but Daniel did not tell the truth. He shook his head quickly and said, "No, of course not. Why will you ask that?" He sat next to her and put his arm around her. Christine felt stiff and did not hug him back. She said, "I saw you today, Daniel. I followed you. I know about Maya." Her eyes filled with fresh tears. Daniel's face went pale. He took his arm away and stood up. "Christine, I can explain," he started to say. But Christine had heard enough excuses over the years. She stood up too, wiping her tears. "How could you?" she cried. "I have loved you and I gave you everything. I paid our bills. I helped you when you were in trouble. And this is how you treat me?" She pointed at the lipstick stain still on the shirt he wore. The same shirt from the night before. "You lied to me over and over." Daniel hung his head, not able to meet her eyes. He muttered, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." But Christine could see he was only sorry he got caught. That night, Christine felt a mix of anger and sadness and betrayal. She made Daniel sleep on the couch because she did not want him in the bed with her. She cried into her pillow, feeling so alone. She thought about all the sacrifices she made for him. She remembered how she paid off his debt, how she forgave his mistake, and how she kept hoping he would be loyal and loving. Christine realized that Daniel had broken not only her heart, but also her trust. With a heavy heart, Christine slid off her wedding ring from her finger. The ring used to be a symbol of love and trust, but now it felt like it had no meaning. She placed it quietly on the bedside table. Christine lay in bed alone, hugging an extra pillow, and eventually cried herself to sleep. Trust is very important in love. Christine trusted Daniel like a bird trusts its wing to fly. But Daniel broke that trust by lying and cheating. When trust is broken, love feels very hot and weak. Christine knew now that she had to be strong and protect herself. The next morning, Christine decided she needed a plan. She wanted to confront both Daniel and Maya together to stop the lies once and for all. She thought carefully about what to do. Simply arguing with Daniel at home wasn't enough because he might keep lying, and if she tried to meet Maya in a normal way, Maya might not believe her or might tell Daniel, and then Daniel could hide again. Christine knew Daniel was very good at talking himself out of trouble. Then Christine remembered the fancy red car that suddenly appeared a few months ago. Daniel had told her he bought that car for work. It was a shiny red car, the same car Maya was driving. Christine realized that Daniel had actually bought that car for Maya, using money from their shared savings. Christine felt very angry all over again when she realized her hard-earned money went to buy Maya a present without her knowing. She knew Daniel had crossed a big line by using her money to spoil another woman. Christine's face became set and firm. She had made up her mind. She said to herself, "I will get back what is mine, and I will show them the truth." She found out where Maya worked by looking at messages on Daniel's phone one day when he was in the shower. Christine normally would never spy like this, but now she felt she had to protect herself and find the truth. She learned that Maya worked at a marketing office across town and usually drove home around the same time every day after work. Christine planned a confrontation. She decided to do something very risky. She would cause a small accident. She hoped a little bump would not hurt anyone, but would be enough to make Maya stop and get out of the car. Then, Christine could talk to her face to face. It was not a nice plan and it could be dangerous, but Christine felt desperate and very hot. Her hands shook as she gripped the steering wheel that day, waiting near Maya's office at closing time. Her heart was pounding fast and she whispered to herself, "This is for all the lies. This is for the truth." It's important to know that causing an accident on purpose is not a good thing to do in real life. People can get hurt and cars can be damaged badly. But Christine was not thinking clearly because of her pain and anger. She thought this might be the only way to face Maya and get the truth out. As soon as Christine saw the shiny red car leaving the parking lot, she started her own car and followed her. Her palms were sweaty on the wheel. When they reached a quiet street near a traffic light, Christine took a deep breath and gently pressed her car accelerator. She hit the back of the red car, not too hard but enough to make a loud noise and cause a crash. Christine's car jolted and she felt her heart leaped. She had done it. Now it was time to face whatever came next. Christine got out of her car, prepared for the confrontation that she had been planning in her mind over and over. Right after the accident, Maya was standing on the roadside, staring at Christine in shock. Christine had just revealed that she was Daniel's wife. Maya felt tears in her eyes. She couldn't believe that Daniel had lied to her about something so important. Maya had truly cared about Daniel. She thought he was a kind and loving boyfriend, and they had been together for almost a year. He told her he was single. She even met him on nights and weekends, not knowing he was using those times to hide the truth from the wife. For a moment, both Maya and Christine stood quietly by the damaged cars. Cars honked as they passed by, but the two women were lost in their own world of hurt. Christine finally broke the silence. "Maya," she said gently, "I'm sorry I hit your car. I actually did it on purpose because I wanted to meet you. I needed to tell you the truth about Daniel." Her eyes were full of tears now. "He has been lying to both of us." Maya wiped a tear from her cheek. "I didn't know he was married," she whispered. "He told me he wasn't with anyone else. I would never have dated him if I knew the truth." Maya's voice shook with emotions. She felt angry at Daniel and also guilty, even though she hadn't known. I'm sorry I slapped you and yelled at you," Maya added quietly. She realized Christine was not just a stranger. She was another woman who had been hurt by Daniel's lies. Christine gave a small sad smile and nodded. "I understand. I know you were upset about the car. And you didn't know who I was." Christine took a deep breath and then said, "I want you to know what Daniel has done, not just to me, but to you as well." Christine then told Maya everything. She explained how she and Daniel were married, how she worked hard and supported him, and how Daniel used her money to buy things, including the very car that Maya was driving. Maya's eyes grew wide with surprise. She looked at the shiny red car and felt a chill. "This car was bought with your money?" she asked in disbelief. Christine nodded. "Yes, he never would have been able to afford it on his own. That was my savings from years of work. I thought the money was going to our household or for his work. Instead, he spent it on you, without you even knowing." Maya looked down, feeling bad. Daniel had lied to her in so many ways. Maya remembered how Daniel often refused to take her to his apartment. He used to say, "Oh, I'm staying with a friend right now," whenever she asked about visiting him at home. Now, she understood that was because he lived with Christine, his wife. Maya also recalled how Daniel sometimes canceled dates on weekends, saying he was busy or sick. Most times, he was with Christine on those days, pretending everything was normal at home. Maya felt sick, thinking of how she had been deceived. In that moment, Maya and Christine realized they were both victims of Daniel's lies. Instead of being angry at each other, they saw that the fault was with Daniel for tricking them. They learned that when someone lies and cheats, they hurt many people. It was better for the two women to support each other than to fight each other. Maya took a deep breath. She felt a little stronger now that she knew the full truth. "Christine," she asked softly, "what should we do now?" Christine had been thinking about this for a very long time. She responded, "We need to confront Daniel together. He needs to face what he has done, and we need to make sure he can't trick us anymore or hurt anyone else." Maya agreed. She pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. "I will call him to come here," she said. She dialed Daniel's number. As the phone rang, her heart pounded. Christine stood beside her, gently holding Maya's free hand for comfort. Maya put the phone on speaker so they both could hear. When Daniel picked up, Maya tried to sound upset. It wasn't hard because she truly was. "Daniel," she said, I had a car accident. I'm okay, but I'm scared and I need you here. I'm on Oak Street near the old bakery. Please come." Daniel's voice on the phone sounded worried. "Oh no, Maya, an accident? Don't worry, I'll be right there. Just stay put, okay?" He obviously cared about Maya, or at least he didn't want her upset. He had no idea Christine was with her. Maya hung up and looked at Christine. "He's coming," she said. About 15 minutes later, Daniel's grey car came speeding down the street and pulled over. Daniel jumped out and rushed towards Maya. He didn't notice Christine at first. "Maya, are you hurt? Let me see," he exclaimed, looking at her and then at the damaged car. Maya stepped back from him without saying a word. That was when Daniel noticed another person standing next to Maya. Daniel's eyes met Christine. He froze in his track and all the color drained from his face. "Christine?" he gasped. Christine crossed her arms and looked right at him. Maya also stared at Daniel, her eyes full of hurt and anger. Daniel realized he had walked into a trap of truth. "Daniel," Christine said in a firm voice, "we need to talk, all three of us." Daniel opened his mouth but no sound came out. He looked at Maya's face, then at Christine. Maya spoke next, her voice trembling with anger. "Why didn't you tell me you are married, Daniel? Why?" She felt tears in her eyes again, but she held them back. "You lied to me. You lied to both of us." Daniel stepped forward slowly, raising his hand as if to calm them. I can explain," he stammered. He looked at Christine desperately. "Christine, I was going to tell her. I didn't know how. And Christine, you and I were having problems. I made a mistake." He then looked at Maya. "But I do care about you, Maya. I never wanted to hurt either of you." Christine shook her head. "A mistake?" she said bitterly. "Daniel, you didn't just trip and fall into a mistake. You made a choice again and again. You chose to lie. You chose to spend our money on someone else. You chose to break our marriage promises." Her eyes were full of tears, but she kept her voice steady. Maya added, "You told me you were single. You let me believe you loved only me. You even gave me a car that I thought was from your hard work. But it was bought with Christine's money. You lied about everything." Maya's voice rose with each sentence, and Daniel winced at her words. Daniel looked truly sorry now, but it was too late. He reached out a hand to Christine. "Please, Christine, I'm sorry. I was foolish. I thought I could make everyone happy, but I just ended up hurting you. Please don't leave me. I can change, I promise." Christine took a step back from his reach. Her heart felt like it was made of stone now towards him. "Daniel," she said softly, "I gave you so many chances. I hoped every time that you would change, but you did not. You broke my heart and my trust too many times." Then Daniel turned to Maya. "Maya, maybe I should have told you. I was scared to lose you, but I do have feelings for you. If Christine divorces me, we can still be together." Maya interrupted him, holding up her head. "Stop, Daniel. Just stop. Do you think I would want to be with you after all these lies? No, I don't. I loved who I thought you were, not who you really are. I do not ever want to see you again." Maya's voice was firm now, even though her eyes were wet with tears. Christine felt proud of Maya for standing up for herself. Christine's own eyes were dry now. She had cried too much already, and now she felt very strong. "We both deserve better than you, Daniel," Christine said. "You played with our hearts and our money. Now you have to face the result of what you did." Christine walked over to the side of the road and took something out of her car front seat. It was a small envelope containing paper. She handed it to Daniel. "These are divorce papers," she said. "I will file them in court soon. That means I'm ending our marriage. You will no longer be my husband, and I will make sure you cannot take advantage of me anymore." Daniel's hand shook as he took the envelope. His eyes looked watery as if he might cry. Christine, please, he began. But Christine held up her hand firmly, just like Maya did earlier. No, Daniel, it's too late. I have to protect myself now. I cannot trust you, and I do not love you anymore because of what you did. Maya stood by Christine's side. She crossed her arms and looked at Daniel with disappointment. And I'll protect myself too, Maya said. She took out her phone, opened her messaging app, and showed Daniel as she blocked his number. See, I'm blocking you, Daniel. Do not ever try to call me or text me again. We are done forever. Daniel looked at Maya with a pained face. He knew he deserved this, but it still hurt to realize she was now lost to him too. Christine then remembered something else. She pointed to the red car and said to Daniel, "You bought this car with my money and gave it to Maya, didn't you?" Daniel nodded weakly, knowing he couldn't lie anymore. Christine turned to Maya kindly and said, "Maya, I'm glad you were honest with me, and I know you didn't mean to be part of this lie. But that car was bought with my money. It really belongs to me, and I need to take back what is mine." Maya understood. She nodded and pulled the car key out of her pocket. She held it out to Christine. "I understand. This car should go back to you. It's yours," Maya said. Christine took the key gently. "Thank you, Maya," she said softly. Christine felt a bit sorry that Maya would be left without a car, but she also knew Maya was a victim here. "I'm sorry about all of this," Christine said to her. Maya managed a small smile through her tears. "It's okay. None of this was your fault. It was Daniel's fault. I'm just glad I know the truth now." The two women hugged each other briefly. It was a hug that said they understood each other's pain and that neither of them was alone now. Daniel stood watching, feeling completely left out and very sad. Christine turned to him one last time. "I want you to leave now, Daniel," she said. "Go pack your things. You can't stay at my house anymore. I already changed the locks this morning." Daniel's shoulders slumped. He realized he truly had nowhere to go now. Christine had been the one supporting him and giving him a home. Maya also spoke up. "Goodbye, Daniel. I hope you learn to be a better person someday. But it might be too late for us. You hurt us too much." She shook her head sadly. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. He reached out as if he wanted to hug someone, but no one stepped forward. Christine and Maya both turned and began to walk away together, leaving Daniel standing by the side of the road. Christine would give Maya a ride home in her own car after they settled everything. Daniel sank down to sit on the curb of the street next to the dented car that he no longer had. His life had changed in an instant. He watched as Christine and Maya drove off. He had lost his wife, his girlfriend, the car, and even his home, all in one day. He felt a deep emptiness in his chest. Daniel realized too late that his own actions, his lies, his cheating, and his careless spending had caused all this pain, and now he was alone. Daniel learned a very hard lesson that day. If you are not honest and if you hurt the people who love you, you can lose everything. Love is precious and is trust. He broke both, and now he faced the sad result. Christine and Maya, however, walked away from the trouble, choosing not to accept lies anymore. A year later, Christine achieved one of her big dreams. She opened a small bakery on a cozy street corner, selling delicious cake and bread. On opening day, as Christine arranged cupcake in the window, she heard the shop door open. It was Maya coming to support her on her big day. Maya brought Christine a bouquet of flower and said, "I'm so happy for you." Christine beamed with joy. They shared a warm hug. They chatted and laughed while enjoying a fresh muffin together, celebrating how far they had come since the day of the accident. Neither Christine nor Maya heard much about Daniel after that day, except that he had a job in another town and was living quietly. Christine didn't care to know more. She was too busy with her new bakery and her peaceful life. Maya started dating someone new who was kind and honest, but she took things slow and carefully, remembering the lesson she had learned. Both women felt happier and wiser. Now we know, love should always be honest and kind. If someone lies to you over and over, you have the right to walk away to protect yourself. True friends or partner respect you and do not take advantage of your money or kindness. When people who have been hurt support each other, they can heal and be strong. In the end, The day that began with an angry accident and a slap ended with the truth coming out. Two honest hearts came together, and a man who lied lost everything because of his own actions. Christine and Maya moved on to happier lives, and they kept the lesson they learned in their hearts forever. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to share this story with your family and your friends who might love to see them. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.